Alright everybody, so I thought I'd take a minute to tell you guys what I thought about the SpongeBob movie, The Search for SquarePants. Um Everybody, I do have to start this review off by saying that The Search for SquarePants is absolutely better than The Sponge on the Run, which is the last proper theatrical SpongeBob movie we got to see. So basically, guys, the story of the movie is SpongeBob wakes up one beautiful morning in Bikini Bottom, and he finds out that he's finally grown to the height of 36 clams, which means he's finally big enough to ride this terrifying roller coaster at a Bikini Bottom amusement park that is strangely, for some reason, not named Glub World in this movie. And basically, guys, SpongeBob and Patrick end up getting to the amusement park, where SpongeBob is greeted by the celebrity guests in this movie, other than the legendary Mark Hamill, whose name I can't even remember right now, but she says like 2 lines in the movie, and her song "Big Guy" is kind of like SpongeBob's anthem throughout the movie, because SpongeBob feels like now that he's finally the proper height to ride this roller coaster at the amusement park, he's finally a big guy, which brings back the theme of, from the first movie, of SpongeBob wanting to feel more mature, more grown up, and not treated so much like a kid anymore. But just like the fiery fist of pain, SpongeBob actually ends up being really scared of the roller coaster, and does everything he can with Patrick to get out of riding the ride. And then he goes to work the next day and says, "Mr. Krabs, I chickened out." And then that's when Mr. Krabs tells SpongeBob that if he really wants to be treated like a big guy, he should become a swashbuckler, which, for all intents and purposes of this movie, guys, that is basically what becoming a real adventurer, a real pirate rather, or rather a real grown-up person is called. And Mr. Krabs says that SpongeBob has to, if he really wants to act more mature and truly be a big guy, he has to think like a swashbuckler. And then, but what SpongeBob and Patrick don't know is after SpongeBob loses his ticket for the roller coaster, it ends up in the hands of the underworld and one certain Flying Dutchman, who once again, excuse me again everybody, is played brilliantly by the Joker himself, the legendary Mr. Mark Hamill. But more on the Dutchman in a minute. So Mr. Krabs tells SpongeBob about his adventures of being a swashbuckler pirate, where he sailed the 7 seas and even confronted the Flying Dutchman. Because, guys, it's revealed later that to be a swashbuckler and earn your swashbuckler certificate, um, you, you, have, you have to have these certain qualities of having um, internal fortitude, bravery, guts, moxie, and a whole bunch of other stuff. Basically, you have to be brave more than anything. And it turns out that what the qualities of being a swashbuckler consist of is also what the Flying Dutchman needs the next person that wasn't Mr. Krabs to blow the Dutchman's summoning flute to summon him back to Bikini Bottom and break his curse so that the Dutchman can become human again and finally enjoy scaring people out in the living world again, and also spend some much needed time in beautiful Santa Monica, California. Um, so, so after SpongeBob finds the Dutchman summoning horn, even though after Mr. Krabs begs SpongeBob not to use it, SpongeBob does actually end up calling the Dutchman, and the Dutchman sees that SpongeBob is basically the perfect moron to switch places with him and complete the trials to blow the Dutchman's summoning flute one more time at the end of these trials that the Dutchman uses as a way for SpongeBob to earn his swashbuckler certificate to become a swashbuckler and to become a big guy. But what that will actually do is, and what it actually does is, make the Dutchman and SpongeBob switch places. So of course, Mr. Krabs, Gary, and Squidward spend the majority of the movie chasing after SpongeBob in the underworld in a very, very beat up motive of transportation. And of course, Mr. Krabs realizes that he shouldn't have tricked SpongeBob into believing that he defeated the Flying Dutchman when Mr. Krabs also actually did the very same thing by agreeing to the trials to make the Dutchman human again. And Mr. Krabs also regrets his biggest lie of them all by telling SpongeBob that he wasn't a swashbuckler. Instead, he was just the random cook on the pirate ship that he sails the seven seas on. And Patrick's role in the movie, guys, is kind of actually minimal to where it's almost like for a lot of this movie, the Dutchman, even though he has tricked SpongeBob into going to the final platform to blow the Dutchman's flute, which will turn the Dutchman human again, the Dutchman actually does become, in a way, SpongeBob's new best friend, and that does obviously make Patrick run away and cry again. And then, of course, at the end of the movie, the Dutchman does end up turning into a very creepy but still a really cool looking pirate version of Mark Hamill. And then after betraying his own reliable shipmate Barb. It's actually Barb, Mr. Krabs, and Patrick that helps SpongeBob get his body back by actually riding the roller coaster and breaking the Dutchman's foot before sunset. And of course, guys, the movie ends with the Dutchman and SpongeBob trading back places because Mr. Krabs actually also ends up becoming a goat as well. And they end up leaving Squidward in the underworld. And that, guys, is pretty much the basic rundown of the movie. I personally thought that the star of this entire hour and 26-minute movie is obviously the legendary Mark Hamill. This is the first time Mark's done a major voice acting and live action camera role both at the same time since the passing of Kevin Conroy, our Batman, his Batman, and yes, everybody, Mark's version of the Flying Dutchman does basically sound like at times the Joker with a British accent, but I think Mark brings a whole new dynamic of the Dutchman to life. That I get it's not Brian, the Dutchman's original voice actor, but let's remember, guys, it may not have been Brian, the Dutchman's original voice actor, but at the end of the day, it was still Mark freaking Hamill, Luke Skywalker, the Joker. Did I mention he played the Joker alongside our Batman, Kevin Conroy? And to me, guys, Mark was truly the MVP of this movie. So, if you haven't seen it yet, please go check out SpongeBob, The Search for SquarePants. Have a good one, everybody. And thank you, The Flying Dutchman. Thank you, Mark Hamill. Thank you, the Joker. Thank you to Derek Draymond, Doug Lawrence, Karen Lawrence, Tom Kenny, Bill Farger, Bill as Patrick, and of course Tom Kenny as SpongeBob. And of course, guys, the movie doesn't say this, but of course we ought to thank the genius that was SpongeBob's creator, Steven Hillenburg. I dedicate this review to Steven's memory. And again, thank you, Tom. Thank you, Derek. Thank you to all the SpongeBob crew veterans that came back to work on this movie, because I thoroughly enjoyed your work, and I do believe that Steven would be very proud of this movie, guys. So again, I dedicate this review to Steven's memory, and thank you, Mr. Hillenburg, for all that you did for our favorite sponge that lives in a pineapple under the sea and truly is a swashbuckler and a very grown-up individual to us and to all of us older fans that have grown up with SpongeBob since the year 1999. I do feel like that this is a love letter to us, but anybody at any age can enjoy this movie, guys. Is it better than SpongeBob's first movie from back in 2004? No, but I do believe that SpongeBob, the movie The Search for SquarePants, can certainly stand on the same level as SpongeBob's original first outing. And again, Bill Tom, Doug, Carol, and all the voice actors. Thank you for your incredible work that always goes so unappreciated by Hollywood, but does not go unrecognized by us, the fans. And again, I dedicate this review to Steven Illingberg's memory, and I also dedicate it to the memory of our Batman, Mr. Kevin Conroy. And one more time, guys, I would like to thank Mark Hamill for delivering a truly outstanding performance, just like he always does, and just like he and Kevin and Tara and anybody else from the veterans of the Bruce Timm DCAU always did. Because, guys, this proved that when you have a truly trained professional voice actor, and let's remember, the judgment is not originally Mark Troll, but he took it and made it his own. So again, thank you, Mark Hamill. Thank you, Flying Dutchman. Thank you, Joker. I dedicate this review one final time to Stephen and Kevin's memory. And I thank you, SpongeBob, me boy, for giving me a fun day. And I sincerely did enjoy it. Have a good one, everybody.